This video is about making a coffin for Halloween. So what I'm doing now is going through all the pallet pieces that I had, picking out only the best for this coffin. Actually, I'm just trying to get 4 pieces together, make sure they're not split. 2 of the middle pieces will be the bigger size, and then the outer pieces will be just tiny little pieces of wood. So once I gather my wood, I am going to lay them out here on the table. This table is fantastic, by the way, because it allows me to place my clamp inside the table or outside the table. So here, just laying them out accordingly. So I'm going to stack 2 layers. This way, eventually, I want to make the top of the coffin and the bottom of the coffin to look the same, right? To have the same width, length. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just take this scrap piece of wood here and place it on top of my stacked pallets and clamp them, and then start from that. Here I'm just taking measurements of the top portion of the coffin. I want to figure out where the center piece is going to be, or the center point, and then draw out my lines for the outside. So what I decided to do is to take the 2 big middle pieces, and that would be or the edge of them, and that would be my starting point. And from there, just draw a line out. This here is going to be the bottom part of the coffin. As you can see, it gets narrower. And here, I'm using my nailer to sandwich the 2 together. That way they don't move while I'm cutting the wood. So here is my piece of crap table saw that I bought from the fire department 2 years ago. The blade is now dull because I'm cutting too much pallet wood, because pallet wood is very tough for some reason. So I'm having to go through multiple passes. And again, here is the outside pieces of the coffin, and I'm using my circle saw. And again, this circle saw has a semi new blade in it, and it's still giving me a hard time. It's smoking. So what I've decided to do is I decided to glue this little piece of stick here that's going to hold all pieces of the wood together, and this is my spacer there. So when I close the coffin, it actually closes. It doesn't sit on top of the box. So a little glue. I just decided, instead of brushing the glue, this wood soaks it in. I just put a glob of it and then put the stick on it, and then eventually just nail it in. So again, if I didn't have this nail gun, this project would have been taking days. Now that I have stapled that little support beam together, now it's time to pry away the top piece of the coffin from the bottom piece of the coffin. So here's what I'm doing right now. I'm just slowly prying it apart from it without trying to break it or jiggle it. You see how weak the coffin lid is right now, but eventually, in the end, it'll be rock solid. And there's a whole bunch of nails there. Eventually, I'm just gonna take my little pliers here and snip all the nails. That way, you're not touching it. So the process is pretty much the same. Once I glue the bottom support beam to the coffin lid, I'm just going to do the same thing to the bottom. So here I am removing some of the nails. I don't have short enough nails. The nails I have, I forgot what size it is, but they're 18 gauge. So yeah, so this is the bottom piece of the coffin. Again, I'm making the marks, drawing the line, make sure that when I put the glue on, I put the glue on exactly where it needs to go. And I'm putting on a big blob of it. Again, I didn't want to brush into it because I tried brushing it in, and it just sucked up all the glue. So here is the lid. Actually, this is going to be the top part of the coffin. So here I have both the bottom and top sandwiched together because I'm going to cut the bottom part of it and the top part of it so they both look uniform. So here's the top part of the coffin. And I have some scrap wood, so I decided to make a little cross out of it. That's how the cross is going to look like. It's going to sit like that. Really sharp at the bottom and flat at the top. Before I put it on, I'm going to put a glob of glue there and then put 4 nails onto the cross. Yeah, so every time I use the nail gun, I always have to cut away the excess nail. So yeah, the top part of the coffin is pretty much done. So at this point, I am going to build the box. So I took some of the pieces of wood, cut them into length with a 45-degree miter. That way when I technically place them all together, it's nice and squared, but as you'll see in the end, it's not really nice and squared. But then again, I actually like it because it's not perfect. So again, I'm using my clamp, but with my table, I can put the clamp inside the table. That's why I like this table. The table is actually used to be a door, and that used to be a window. So I just removed the window, cut the door in half, and that's the table. This part actually took the longest because the wood is not straight. The wood is warped. Surprisingly, when I was building this little piece, it seemed really weak, like there's no support. But once all the pieces of wood came together, it became really solid. And pretty much once the glue dried, it just became rock solid. So I'm putting some glue between the gaps just to make sure that it has extra bondage. And here's that middle piece of the coffin. So the left side's done, the right side's been nailed too. And now it's starting to look a lot more solid. It actually feels a lot more solid at this point. So all the nailing's done. So here it is, the coffin. The rustic coffin. It looks beat up, which is perfect. And here comes the lid. And I was really happy with the lid, the way it fits, because once you put it in, I could flip that thing upside down and it would not come apart. So it fits snug in there. Then there's a cross. Eventually we'll paint red, and there's the final coffin. So I hope you like this video. Give it a thumbs up video, and I hope you subscribe to these types of video.